Guys, welcome to today's video. This is just going to be like a little short video on staking this Syngonium. I repotted this a few weeks ago and it liked it, so it started shooting out a load of new growth. You can see a new leaf here, but it did this. So yeah, I mean, it looks like it's not happy, and I guess it's not happy, but what it wants is something to grow up, but I don't have a tree for it to grow up, so yeah, I'm just going to stake it. It's also got some new, like, it's telling me what it wants. It's got new aerial roots here and here, so it wants something to cling onto. Now, I could train it up a moss pole, but it won't cling to a moss pole any more than it'll cling to any old stick that I've got lying around. So this is just a little stake that most houseplants come with where I live that has a little card with the information about it on, so I'm just going to stick it in there. You can't see. Stuck it in the pot, and then I'm just going to tie the Syngonium to it. At some point in the future, I will probably train this up a plank of wood or something, because the pattern, it's growing really, like the leaves are really close together, and I think it'll like shingle really nicely up a board or something. So I think that'll look really cool, but can't be bothered to do it now. Also, I don't have a plank of wood. I'd have to repot it, and I've only just repotted it, and it's put out a ton of like big new growth, so clearly it's happy, and I don't move plants when they're happy, so I'm just going to stick a stick in it and tie it on. Don't use string when you're tying plants to things, because it'll dig into, you can't see, if you use string you can end up digging into the stems and that'll just damage them, so don't do that. These are, they're marketed as like plant ties, but they are clearly, well, that's not going to work. Well, it's better than it was. I'm going to need something longer, but I don't have anything at the moment, so I'm looking around like trying to see if I can find something. So what I'll probably do, I've got some really long canes, is I'll probably tie up that Florida green, and then that's got a slightly smaller, it's got a stake that's bigger than this but smaller than, you know, like a big long tall one, because that's like overkill, especially since this is growing so well in my west facing window. I really don't want to move that. So yeah, anyway, I was talking about the plant ties. So yeah, these are clearly just like freezer bag ties. They were really cheap on Amazon, but they're flat, so they won't dig into the there's mold on that, so they won't dig into the plant. Yeah, that's really not going to work, is it? I was going to go and see if I can find something a bit bigger. Success! I don't even know what this was. It's got a flower on the end of it though. So we'll try again. So yeah, you can get all kinds of different gardening types. You can get I quite like the rubbery ones that come on a like long spool. They're quite good. Or the ones like pipe cleaners. Okay, this is a dead leaf. We're going to get rid of that. Just flicking soil everywhere. The leaves in the way. But yeah, I'm just tying it on. I'll use a couple just to secure it. But yeah, the goal here, I'm not training it to attach itself to this cane, because it won't. Like, why would it? So, but I am gonna. Please, why can't you just stay up straight? Well, it's straighter than it was. No, it's not. This bit's wobbly. I'm gonna do another one. I wouldn't care, but this is for your own good. Like, I don't care if you snap. This clearly needs like chopping and propping, but I've not got the inclination at the moment to do so. Oh, just snapped an aerial root. I can't really see where this leaf's going to go. I'm hoping I'm not going to damage it, but there you go. This plant, it grows really well. Look at it. Just stay upright. It won't, it's not having it. I think the reason it won't stay upright is I left it too long over to one side, so it's basically this is stronger than the cane, so I'd need like a weight or something at the bottom, which I can't be bothered to do. Hopefully it'll straighten over time, we'll see. So I love this Syngonium. It's a really nice one for beginners. It doesn't droop as much as other Syngoniums, but I have noticed that old growth, can't really see that well, gets all these black spots on it, and it seems to be, it looks kind of like edema, you know, in fiddly figs. They get like red spots on them when you've been watering incongruently, which happens anyway. Like you can be the most meticulous waterer in You could be the most meticulous waterer in the world, and fiddly figs will still get those edema spots. But I think it's either edema on this Syngonium Ice Frost, or it's, I can't remember what the word is, but you know, if you have say a monstera and you've got those little tiny leaves at the bottom and they go yellow with those black spots on, that is it's the plant going through the process of pulling all the nutrients out of the leaf and essentially preparing it to die. But it's taking all the nutrition out so it doesn't lose anything when it loses the leaf, and I think that's what that is. I mean, I'm not bothered about it because it's clearly got a new leaf and it's grown and it's fine, but as you can see, like it's getting a bit naked along the bottom. I don't really know what it wants, because it was growing like a normal, like, you know, one leaf and then a normal internodal space. It wasn't really leggy, it wasn't growing like this, and then all of a sudden I gave it a load of light and it was like, yeah, it grew loads of leaves at once, which I get. Like I want it to be happy. I'd rather it was happy than looked good. You can also see on this one, so the leaves when they first come out are really green, and then over time they lighten. Is that the same way that a Florida Ghost does it? It's not as obvious as a Florida Ghost, but the new leaves are definitely much greener, and then they pale over time. You can see that. And I just think it's a really cool plant and really easy to care for. Why can't you just like... When I'm rich, I'm going to have, in my plant room, I'm going to have like floor to ceiling planks of wood, so all my plants grow straight up as opposed to like wobbly. And I know in the wild they'll grow whatever direction they want. So yeah, I've just put like 3 essentially freezer bag ties. If you don't have plant ties, freezer bag ties will work fine. Another of my plants that I can't work out whether I'm killing it, if I'm doing something wrong, or if this is just the way they are. God, my hair's mental today. Is my... No, I can't say this. It's the Pilea Peperomioides. You know, this one. Now from this angle, now this is an angle I don't normally see. This is the side that's normally turned to the window. It looks really good. But you can see I get a lot of this. I've actually taken a few off, and there's new growth, so I've got a new leaf come in. Can't see. Got a new leaf coming here, and there's a new leaf coming here. And there is a ton of babies in the bottom, so it looks fine. You know, there's loads just starting to grow. But this plant... Okay, I'm going to have to start turning it away from the window, aren't I? Yeah, this is the bad side. You can see now where it's just been looking at the window, looking out the window. But we'll, you know, for the purposes of this video, we'll keep it on the pretty side. But it is such an up and down plant, and I'm beginning to think that's just what it's like. So it was really healthy, really good when I first got it, really healthy, and it grew really, really well for about a year. Then I had to repot it because it was so root bound. And I repotted it and it worked okay. But I was getting the feeling it was, because it had been so root bound, it wasn't growing into the new soil properly. And I was like, oh, that's a bit of an issue. Like, how am I going to remedy that? And then it grew out. So like this one here is it's clearly in the new soil, and there's a root like they're weird roots. They're really like woody. I don't know if you can see. There's like a really woody root there. It's like, it's not white. It's like, it's wood. And then it started to die. And I was like, well, that's fine. Like a lot of my plants do start to die, and then I sort of remedy them. This was the mother plant wasn't growing anymore, and I was like, well, maybe she's done. Maybe that's what they do. And then I saw a Plantarina video where she had like a massive one, and it was like babies everywhere, and it was growing at the bottom, like there was plants going out of the drainage holes. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm looking after it wrong. I'd already like upped the light And then somebody was like, no, it needs less light, so I took it away. And then it went really downhill, so I was like, shit, give it more light. I have found in general, more light is really an issue. It's often an issue straight away, you'll get burning and stuff, but in general, depending on how bright a light you have, more light tends to be a good way to save things. But yeah, it just wouldn't thrive. And then, yeah, I get a lot of this. But then summer hit. Like that, all of last summer it looked like crap. And then this summer hit and it's, you know, it's looking okay. But it's also not, I feel, as big as it should be. These are one of those plants that I think people struggle with because the healthy ones look so healthy and the unhealthy ones look so unhealthy. You rarely see, like, you know, I'm doing you a service here by giving you a look at a medium one. And also so mine goes through phases where it drops leaves and it drops a ton and it looks awful. So the leaves either look really healthy or they look like this. There's no light in the middle. And I find that quite stressful in a plant. But if anybody's wondering, it's fine. I do wish it would like not... I think I just need to turn it more because it's clearly like they're all looking at the sun. But yeah, I think we're looking okay. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 1, 2, 3, 4... Why are they so hard to count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 babies and the mother. Do with another baby here. You know, round it out a bit. I don't know whether I was expecting to see like a load of babies coming out the bottom or something, but clearly that wasn't going to happen. So yeah, it's just one of those plants that I don't struggle with. It doesn't do anything, like, you know, it's fine. I never worry that it's going to actually die. But I just feel it's not as easy as I feel it should be. I think that's true of so many plants. The only plant that I think is like genuinely an easy plant to care for is a ZZ plant, because of where mine is. So I keep it on the corner of the bath and it gets sprayed with a shower because I always change the angle of the shower from the angle that my boyfriend has it. So when I turn the shower on in the morning and it basically gets watered a tiny little bit. Have I mentioned this in a video before? I feel like I have. Anyway, and because it gets watered a tiny, tiny bit every day, and it's a big plant in a big pot, so it's like a tiny bit, it never needs anything from me. At one point it will need repotting because it's in a terracotta pot. Again, that's probably why it's not getting overwatered, even though it's getting watered every day, because it's in terracotta. So when I got it from Sainsbury's, my boyfriend bought it actually, and it came in like a nursery pot, but it was bursting out of the pot, like it was ripping the plant pot. ZZ plant roots are strong, and I'm terrified one day I'll be in the shower and it'll just like explode. So yeah, but this is like my second summer, I think. Second or third summer of keeping plants. I want to say professionally, it's not I don't sell them and I'm not that good at looking after them, but like I do it as part of my business. And this year I've definitely noticed more growth. And I don't know if it's because I think I've got worse at looking after them. In my first 2 years, I was really diligent. And then I was like, they won't die, be fine. But they seem to be putting out more growth. And I think it's a combination of me being more intuitive and them being more established. So this rubber plant... has put out more new growth this year than it ever has before. I think, in fact, yeah, I've got a new leaf there. I actually think it's only put out one. It's put these 3 leaves. It's dropped a load, and then it's put out these 2 small ones. God, look how dusty. Look at that. This poor plant. And then this bigger one. And then it's this, this new one looks like it's going to be quite a big plant. And I think, it's got roots on the bottom. How weird is that? Little roots. I don't know why it started doing that. Is this going to be like really root bound? Oh my god, it's like proper, like I'm holding that by the stem. Should we have a look? Oh, that was a bit disappointing, really. Oh god, there's like big, thick... Oh, wow! Look at that! There's like a big thick root in there. I really want to get this out and have a look. But that probably won't be good for it, will it? This is like solid. What you can't see is the massive mess that just made. Oh, my makeup sponge. Right, where's the bin? When it comes to caring for both the Syngonium and the Pilea Peperomioides, you know, and the rubber plant, they all get, considering if you read up on care for those plants, they all get the same light, which is a west-facing window, so it's like, it's pretty good light. They all get watered when they're like pretty much bone dry and fertilised every 6 weeks if they're lucky. So they all get the same care and they're all growing really well. I actually find that this rubber plant grows better than... Are you also root bound? Oh, you are root bound. Got roots coming out the bottom. I wouldn't repot that. I'm not going to repot it yet. It's not root bound enough. In fact, this probably won't get repotted till next year because if there was a ton of roots coming out the bottom, I'd repot it or take it out of the pot and sort of shift the roots around. But in general, I like to wait to repot when plants are actively, clearly mad about something. As long as they're healthy, like if they've got thrips, I wouldn't repot them because I'll just kill them. If they're not growing and I can't find another reason and that, you know, they look like they don't have a lot of room in the pot, then I'll repot them. But in general, I'm like, nah. I found less is more with repotting. Also, pots are expensive. So at the start of the year, I had a bit of a thrips infestation. And so I chopped all the leaves off my calathea because I wanted to see which ones would grow back fastest and which ones would grow back well. But the problem is I didn't label them, so now I have to wait. I've got a few that I haven't done anything yet, so I'm like, what are you? But my rattlesnake calathea is coming back. So I am well excited about that. This one, so rattlesnake calathea are one of those plants that grow quite easily, but so I never had a problem with getting it to grow, and I never had a problem with it dying. I did have a problem getting it to look like a nice plant. They were all the leaves would go really crispy, and it would always just look a little bit sad. Not that this doesn't look sad. This looks weird. It looks like, well, it looks like two aliens stood next to each other. But I'm hoping over time we'll get a full plant. I've also found that rattlesnakes aren't too bothered about drying out. It really varies a lot from calathea to calathea, and it really varies a lot from, if you've got like I found the small plants are much less forgiving than the bigger ones when it comes to drying out. So this year was the first year I started a veg garden, and I was so excited about it because I thought the idea of having like my own onions, peppers and tomatoes would be incredible because I love those vegetables. But the only thing that's grown like really well are nasturtiums, which you can eat nasturtium flowers, but nah, I'm not like, they're not going to sustain me, and kale. I used to go through a lot of kale in smoothies, but it's smoothies is something that I go through phases, and I'm currently not in a smoothie phase, which is really irritating because I've got a lot of kale. And you could say, well, just do it, but that's, you know, I do want to make a smoothie, but I just haven't. So maybe that'll be a task for this afternoon. Oh, and the peppers stopped growing. Like I grew them from seed and they were growing inside really well, and then I put them outside and they grew and then they stopped. My cucumbers are growing and I've got tiny little cucumbers on them, which is quite exciting, and I've got 4 tomatoes on my tomato tomato plant. So yeah. Oh, potatoes have done really well, so if all else fails I can live on potatoes, which is something I am more than happy to do and pretty much do already, just not homegrown ones, and these ones are purple. So that's quite exciting. So yeah, that's my little update on my outside garden. When you look at, like down at it, let me see if I can show you. It just looks like a mass of nasturtiums and kale. The guy came to fix my boiler the other day, and I accidentally mentioned that I'd gotten into gardening, and he was straight outside, and he was like, "These tomato plants look terrible. I'd not chopped off the right branches." So there was a problem with my boiler anyway. So he has to come back. So I think, remedied the issue, but I'm sure he'll let me know. So we have got chives, onions, shed load of kale, shed load of nasturtiums, some really sad looking celery, and tomato plants with tomatoes, pretty weeds, potatoes, parsley, marigolds, more nasturtiums, carrots, peppers, and a cucumber in the corner. And you can see cucumbers. So I'm not looking to be self-sufficient anytime soon, or ever, unless I can find a vegan chicken nugget plant. But yeah, it's been a fun experiment. It's certainly not cost efficient. I knew it wouldn't be. Like, I didn't come into veg gardening thinking that I was going to save a fortune. It definitely costs a lot more to nurture plants than it does to, like, you know, buy a punnet of cherry tomatoes. But I thought it would be fun, and they do taste a lot better. So yeah. Anyway, I hope that was exciting for you, and I will see you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.